and having gratitude, even though society might deem something as being awful, unacceptable, a person is doing things which are totally unacceptable. When you see the joy, when you see with gratitude that this is an experience, and drop the judgment, that's what it is. A wonderful experience. And it might be tough sometimes. I remember going to jail after jail, and I felt deep shame. I wasn't the prisoner, but even going as a visitor, and they would treat you really badly, and it would take me 2 weeks to get over it. But now I can go in and out. It's fine. So I learned, and my spirit grew, and I could not take on all the pain of what was inside the prison. I could just be with it, because it was my fear which was making me, gosh, I'd hate to be here. So the whole body contracts. Ooh. And so I learned to be at ease with, being in a prison. Being at ease anywhere. And it might be a big social function, having dinner with the president of a country. And everyone's trying to be perfect, but there's a dying inside, like, fear I'll do something wrong. So then you can be at ease with that, or be at ease anywhere, because you realize it's just an experience. And I remember going to Buckingham Palace, and you're transported into another realm where they have, everyone's dressed in red and gold, and there's such pageantry, and the music is playing, and you're transported. It's quite an amazing experience. And so each experience, it might be the Buckingham Palace, but it might be jail. It's an experience. And sometimes something we judge as bad, like when my daughter, her baby died, that was the most loving experience that we'd shared. There was a sweetness. And so if you judge an experience, you're missing out on it. You're pushing it away when that could be an amazing, something you would value. I always say to my friends, I'll sit in my rocking chair when I'm 150 and laugh my head off, because I've got such a wealth of experiences. So you can, look, life is different then. There's no, when the judgment goes, it was so amazing that you could experience the polarities between living in the bush with the Aborigines, Buckingham Palace, state banquets, to, what they all have a joyfulness if you let go of the judgment and just see the experience for what it was. So then life becomes a gold mine of gratitude and joy. And when you come into a state of gratitude, you'll feel your whole body shift. Like when you're feeling lack and in a job maybe you don't like, or sitting in a prison, life's unfair, I hate it, I hate it, I hate it. Guess what you're focusing on? So you're going to bring more of that to you. But when you're sitting there and you can see the beauty in it, just look into somebody's heart. Connect with somebody's heart. You will see the beauty in that situation. And because what you focus on, you will attract. So if you see the beauty, then you will attract more beauty and abundance. It's only when you focus on lack you will receive more lack. And lack is closed heart, refusing to open your heart. Because once you open your heart, all the love and abundance can flow in. If you've got a closed heart, you keep it out. Won't let people in, you won't let money in, you won't let anything in. So, there's a benefit to opening your heart. And just seeing the joy of being a stockbroker, how exciting. The joy of being trusted to manage large sums of money for people and to get an insight into their psyche, to get to know people. And it's our connection to humanity, really, that is real. And to look deep into somebody's heart. I'll never forget in South America, there was a woman, I'd never seen such suffering on her face. And I really looked deep into her heart and into her eyes, into her whole soul, and saying, I can see your suffering. I acknowledge your suffering. And so we had quite a connection, and it's moments like this that you don't forget. The picture never really leaves you. She epitomized the ultimate in suffering. But when you can touch the soul, of a beggar in the street, or, in Hong Kong I was in this ward where, because I was in hospital for 2 weeks having my last child, and I opted to go into the ward where, it's very cheap instead of a private doctor in a private room. And so I had 2 months of seeing different people come and go, and, waking up in the morning and seeing a policeman standing at the end of the bed of a refugee that's just come from China to have a child in Hong Kong. And showing the nurses, I was on the front cover of the Eve magazine, this is me, they laughed their head off. I said, well, that was my personality. This is me sitting in the ward and then laughing. And because it's not about the image, it's about your essence. And something I'd judged and been afraid of, suddenly taking in that wealth of experience and seeing that I was no different from the old toothless Alma as we lined up for a x-ray and waiting in line, and I looked at her and she looked at me. I could not stop laughing. We were just souls having an experience, and she looked very weather-beaten and toothless and really like a hag, but we're totally, and there I was on the front cover, but we're souls having an experience. So when you shift the perspective and see life from that point of view, what a journey, what a joy, what complete gratitude that you've been able to experience it. And all the players in it. We've all had a soul agreement. And then, so it's like once you come back to love, come back to soul, you have a jolly good laugh about it. Like my mother's crossed over now, but we had such a loving, because when she could see that she'd lived her life in misery, and that was just her state of consciousness. And when she crossed over, she'd seen her life review. I said, oh, I lived my life, I was real miserable, wasn't I? And then we could have a good laugh about it. I said, well, I wanted to experience the rejection and what it was to be so far away, feel so separate from God, from source, that, you gave me a great experience. So thank you so much. So it's like the elation of completing the race. You've completed it. Doesn't matter if you're first or last, you've completed the race. And so then you thank all the players that helped you through it. My first husband who tried to strangle me to get in touch with my primal rage. So society would deem that as being terrible. And learning the helplessness of watching an alcoholic drink themselves to death. It's a total experience of not being able to do anything. You can't control it. And that was, my whole thing was to let go of my will and then come back in to complete being humble, saying, please help me. So then you regain your innocence as a child of God, and then you can start to play again and then enjoy a different experience on earth, without the judgment, just feeling the love and joy and gratitude of a job well done. So wherever you are on the path, I'll see you, I love you, and let's just love each other up. I think it's terrific. And empathize and have compassion and just seeing the fun of just being in this delightful journey together. I think it's fabulous.